good afternoon. So hot wings. Thank you.
Do the Kenya.
Just the Kenya one? Sure. Okay. As a hot.
Yeah, whatever you recommend.
Hot is better way.
Okay.
最初に渡してきたのアイス
アイスです。2段アイス GXO インディゴがホット。
邪魔です。
Anything else?
I don't think so.
Sure. I don't mind a free one.
We have these two.
Yes, you have a nice countenance. Yeah. Nice. Good. You should. I remember you now. Okay. I remember you and just a kid anymore. Okay. So what are you gonna get today? Silver or what?
That's right. Which one?
I don't, not like. A well-worn path.
Yeah, no, it's great timing. I guess you pass through some countryside, but like Jakarta is just a sprawl, you know, of, I don't know, a million people, 30 million people or something, the greater area, you know, and then there's a little bit of a gap. So there's a lot of roasters in Bandung.
Video sih, bener sih.
Yeah, just mix the trays.
Yeah.
kehidupan.
Terima kasih, terima kasih. Yeah, they're pretty mellow. domesticated.
Like this magenta Toyota.
Smell that. Well, if it's clean, it's different.
Little bit dulu baru dicium.
Boleh cubit. Boleh saya buka saja. Yeah. Here we go. Here we go. Here. She said we can. Oh, Pampers. Oh, nice. Okay.
Who are they?
They were like a hard rock group that had some really groovy kind of hard rock hits. I don't know if they ended up becoming a bit more changed. It's a little, they're older era.
Oh, guys, see that bottom one in your stack? Oh, I love them.
Kecapi.
Oh, kecapi ya.
Thank you. How you doing?
It's about a 3-hour drive from here, southwest.
And then he's taking a lot of.
Yeah, he's taking just from his area. So we basically, one region, we had one washing station partner that we pre-financed, and we have our staff there basically working side by side with me.
Half of it.
This is insane.
Okay, can I ask maybe a silly question? What does a green bag represent versus a white bag?
There's no color coding, it's just the flyers and bag.
Okay.
Yeah, that actually happens to be Robusto though, over there.
So
Tom
it does
wants that.
represent.
I think Tom requested the green bags, if you tell him. Yeah, generally, we standardize that these white bags are ours. These are all of our own, like our own satellite processing mills. The other bags would be from kind of third-party suppliers. So the white bags, all on here, that's all us, basically. And then the other bags would be third-party suppliers.
So I'll talk to them this morning.
Everything like thinking, for the lab, we see it. And this is through Oasis, so we do an extra.
We have more price sensitivity because the stone?
Yeah.
At the moment we have 4 sizes, 319 above, then we have 2 stages of ventrimetric.
Yeah, but I'm trying to find the differences in it. Also at home.
Okay, now we're ready for drying. You can try for the first. Yeah, the left. Okay.
So you typically go this way around the table?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's right.
Are the notes of the lot, if I was to like unfold this, are they inside of here? Oh, there we go. But then you keep it a secret.
This is
Okay, gotcha.
Okay.
Trip and Chaz have been very welcoming in teaching me about coffee and cupping since I come from a political background. So I'm always curious if what I'm picking up is the same thing.
Cupping can be political as well.
Would you have a favorite?
I did.
Go on, looking at.
I do not like editing this. 5 and 13. This was gnarly. Yeah, funk.
So all these papers, can you guys explain to me what I'm looking at all these papers?
Do you guys want to explain what the paper means?
This is a sample from production because number 1 to number 6 same copy and different bake from warehouse.
Okay.
Because I copying 1 ton per sample because need detail for copying production after baking and after blending something like that.
So what does each line mean?
This is a code from warehouse
Cool.
and this is a code from me.
Oh,
This is
okay.
a CV cafe practice from Starbucks.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Certificasi cafe practice from Starbucks.
This is my favorite on the table. 13. Like that is something that I think we
Thank you.
It's like on his eye.
No, it was like zoomed in like right on his nose.
Okay, let me see. 13 you said? See, you said your favorite was 10?
12.
12?
I mean, it's funky as hell. Funky as heck. Sorry, camera.
Are we not allowed to swear?
See, I think that my favorite's more aligned.
Boss censoring us?
Are we allowed to swear?
Of course you are.
Okay. Funky as hell.
Heck yeah.
And like typically, I kind of will have like 2 sides of my brain of like what am I personally enjoying, and then what do I think will fit a profile. Trip is better and more practiced at actually identifying specific notes because he's doing it every day.
I got some good visuals because everything can be used, but I don't think we need a lot. You've switched your phone to 4K, right?
No. I'll do the front middle. I'll be this guy.
Okay. That's nice.
Pick up this many cups of one container gives you kind of a big picture of like all the dots on a painting or something that
Right.
makes up the coffee. At this point, this is where we say goodbye to the coffee,
Right.
and then we kind of rely on occasionally being able to cup it once it's actually already arrived and it's rested for a few months. And these are all from the same village, all the same washing station, which you guys will visit, I think, tomorrow or Thursday.
Is the reason to wet haul and remove the particle when it's so wet to remove the risk of mold forming? Or is that mainly what it is with it being so wet here? Why does wet hauling exist?
That's a
Outside of
great question.
Okay.
In part, it does exist for that, actually. It was invented in Sumatra. Like here, you can see the climate right now during the harvest is great.
Yeah.
It's not always great, but this year it's good. And in general, Java, dry season corresponds with harvest. But in Sumatra, the harvest corresponds with the rainy season. So in a place like Sumatra, wet holing is like really key to be able to dry the coffee. Drying parchment takes 2 to 3 times longer than wet hold coffee. So if it's sunny, you can dry wet hold coffee in 3 days, but fillet wash will take a week maybe.
If it's rainy, this might take a week, this might take 20 days.
And who has that kind of time?
Right, and then the longer you push it, space, yeah, space is huge. Space is the biggest thing actually that we're always running up against. So you'll have limited drying space and it takes longer, then of course you do run the risk of mold on fully washed coffees. You also super run the risk of mold on wet hold coffees because this has a parchment layer on it, this is exposed grade coffee, and this is actually much more risky.
Oh.
After you hold it, if you don't get it in the sun within like a day or two, mold can immediately start forming on it. Whereas this, actually you can store it, if you store it properly for a while, without mold.
Because the parchment is protecting it.
Yeah, exactly, because there's another layer. So sometimes even on parchment, you can get a really fine surface, like white powdery mildew, but if you hold it, it's gone. Like it hasn't worked its way into the coffee, right? Whereas this, it's green coffee, and if it's there, it's there. It's on that wet coffee, it's there in the coffee itself. But I think wet holding, in part, is due to the faster drying time, for sure. So you're able to dry coffee, you're able to then sell it more quickly. But you're also kind of breaking down the supply chain into different steps where the coffees can kind of flow quicker from the mountain down to the export when you're doing wet hold. Whereas this one, it might take longer, and you're also thinking about cash flow, like small collectors who have limited working capital. And if it takes you 10 days to rotate your cash, your small working capital cash, versus 3 days, automatically you can process 3 times more coffee. You can rotate your limited working capital. Say I have a small collector in the village. I have $10,000 in my own savings that I use to be a trader. And if you're doing this, you can do 3 times more than this, then this is definitely much more attractive. So you're able to make more with what you have from a finance perspective, make more with what you have from a land perspective. And then coincidentally, the cup profile that came from this became really desired as well. So that was the last piece of the puzzle. If all those things were in place but nobody wanted the coffee, then forget about it, it doesn't matter. But it turned out that a lot of people actually wanted this versus this, and it was more unique. It was like, oh, that's different. This is maybe more similar to a Colombian or a Guatemalan or something, but this is different. And when they're super fresh, maybe not as different, but in another month they'll be even more different from each other. So that's the thing. At the end of the day, that became the identity profile of Indonesia, but it has all these other benefits that come with it.
12 I was a very, very big fan of.
See, I was going to say 13 was my favorite on the whole table.
Yeah, with the fruitier coffees, yeah, they're definitely like different people like different types of fruit profile. But there's something to be said for going from this to this and then going from this to this. So this will seem way more intense because you followed after this, but if you jump to here, you know, I'm sure you've experienced that. Sequencing is so important when you're cupping.
That's interesting about as well.
We actually don't really give much thought at all to the sequencing.
Yeah.
But we should. I mean, that's a great point.
Adi, what was your favorite coffee?
Yeah, LA flavors this one, definitely because
This was my favorite coffee.
yeah, because flavor is something apple, orange, and this one very different because after taste something nutty.
More nutty.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one was like, I don't know, it had some complexity to the aroma that I found to be very, very attractive. Yeah, we're gonna start producing more naturals now that we're kind of like past the real peak, because they take up a lot more space, but we look at the weather forecast and then kind of see what we've built up, and we haven't done a whole lot of naturals yet, but I think for the next month, 2 months, we'll probably focus more on naturals.
How many kilos would you say are in this bed?
Depends if you're talking wet or dry coffee. Satu meja ini berapa kilo? Huh? 250 kilos of dry parchment. Yeah, for this smaller bed. There's some longer beds over there. We do a bit of a rotation. Usually when it's just freshly pulped, we'll put it on the tables or inside here, which is also a mesh net. But then once it's like skin dry, we'll kind of move it to tarps, and then we can move it around. It's safer to move. It's just that first step of getting the surface dry is what's best to use the tables for more even drying. But then once it's like this would be fine to rotate, move this to a tarp to finish, and then put wet coffee here. So we have like this system where we catch rainwater, we fill the tanks and use rainwater, but it hasn't rained at all hardly this year. So last year there was a lot of more rain during the harvest. There's a lot more water. This year it's actually really dry. We're actually bringing in trucks of water. But we're not processing a lot of fully washed. That's why we're doing more honey and natural. It's just to reduce our water usage. This is going to be fully washed here. Ini dari kemarin. So this was just pulped yesterday night. So you actually don't see much active fermentation yet. You see like a couple bubbles or two. For our fully wash, we're doing 2 nights of fermentation. We just find like it's cleaner and it's more the profile we're looking for. The 1 night's okay. 1 night normally we'll do for wet hull coffees, and then we'll do 2 nights fermentation for fully washed coffees. And it's just something we decided based on the cup quality that we prefer. So this is 1 night, and it's actually you could go ahead and wash this and dry it, but it's still got a little bit of stickiness to it. But the mucilage, you can tell, is already pretty well broken down.
Yeah.
That second night is really more about developing the flavor than like a functional mechanical breakdown of the mucilage. Because this is actually okay, but 1 more day it'll be even cleaner.
Yeah.
And so during this process, we'll switch out the water again, skim off the floaters, do a change of water again, and then run it through the screw conveyor. And this is a centrifuge that removes the excess water.
This
So no washing.
pretty one here.
The washing is just the changes of water and scrubbing in here. And then the agitation in the screw conveyor and the agitation in the centriflux kind of does the last wash on it. But yeah, it's not like East Africa where they're using a ton of water to wash and wash and wash. We're trying to use the least amount of water possible. This village is called Tanjalaya. Some of the cherry came in last night. Part of it he pulped and is doing fully washed. The other part goes directly in the barrels to do the anaerobic. And I just talked to him that we're going to start doing anaerobic natural. So the cherry, instead of taking it out and pulping it and doing a honey, we're just going to put the cherry on the beds and start doing natural. So it's really straightforward. Berapa kilo cherry? 120 kilo?
Yeah.
Cherry, what? Yeah, so 120 kilos of cherry fits in each tank.
Untuk parchment 130.
And then if it's parchment, it's 130 kilos. So we can also use these to ferment parchment. So we could pulp the coffee and then put the parchment, the fruit comes out. It's more kind of brown spice, creamy, banana-y. They're both good. But yeah, we've gone more with the cherry. So this one's from... So this is fully fermented. This is 5 days. This is going to be pulped today, or actually dried. So it's going to be really strong, the smell. But you'll get an idea of, I mean, you watch out, it's going to singe your nostrils because the fermentation is producing so much acid. Yeah. Oof. So smell.
Jadi full, screwnya full.
Yeah.
Intense.
So that's it's like the fermenting that is happening there. So
I was kind of scared to
And you said
smell
this
it
is the
after
fourth day
all
or
of
the
you guys.
fifth
I was
day?
like,
that's the 5th day.
That's
That's as
5.
strong as it gets.
Is 5 always when you stop, or is that?
Yeah.
Okay.
But that's your determination of what tastes best, right? Other people might do a different
Yeah. When
amount
we
of...
first did it, we did like 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, 5 days, 6 days, 7 days, and then we decided to stick with. Jadi masih ada beberapa airlock yang belum sampai ya.
Ya saya udah order 100 tapi belum.
So why no...
Oh, we
pressure
just
valve?
expanded. We ordered the airlocks. They haven't arrived yet. So there's a
I
few
see.
without the airlocks, but we definitely prefer using the airlocks. The fermentation is more consistent.
Right.
We get more off batches when we don't use the airlock, actually.
That
You
makes
said-
sense. Well, that's 120 kilos of actual cherry weight, right?
Yeah, cherry weight. So, yeah.
So
it'll be-
this is 1 bag each.
Probably less, right?
yeah, it'll be. Usually it takes about 7 kilos, 6 to 7 kilos of cherry to make 1 kilo of like sorted green coffee.
Crazy, right?
6 to 7 kilos to make 1 kilo of final. So this is.
I mean, you want to
This
talk about
is
weight
1
loss.
bag. Yeah. So these
Right,
4
this whole
barrels
area
together
is
will
like
make 1 bag.
20 bags.
can I take a picture?
Yeah.
So you get a little bit of this aroma off the tank, right? Like, do you recognize that fermentation smell?
And the coffee in these barrels right now is all from the same farm or from multiple farms or?
Yeah, it's all from multiple farms, but one kind of like micro region. So it's one like farmer group. So it's, the farms here are so small, right? Escape, right?
Right.
Because otherwise a bunch of pressure builds up. It's like the carbon dioxide builds up in there. And it can actually be dangerous. I mean, these things could explode if they're super airtight. So this just allows that to release, essentially. And so it's a low oxygen environment. Also doesn't allow anything in, right? So it allows that out and nothing else in. It's just a bit more stable. So, yeah, for our supply chains, when we get a delivery, so this is Yusuf. Yusuf is delivering, this is for what?
We're cupping his coffee.
Yeah, we cupped his coffee yesterday. So this is coffee that he delivered, and we get this report that actually shows his delivery.
Not still lot tracing to that, like
Yeah,
to
it
the
can-
farm level.
It can be, can all
Really?
be traced, yeah.
Wow.
Traced. Not 100% of our supply chains are set up on this way yet, but almost all of them are. We buy from a few guys that are started working with this year, and we'll get them registered, so next year we have the traceability.
So that's what's
So right
on,
now, I'd say like
these
90%. Yeah, like Mispa, we've already registered all the farmers that delivered to him, for
So
example.
you'd be able to work backwards. Would
Yes.
you know which farm this barrel came from, or you just know?
We would
on
know that
day?
this lot came
Right.
from these farmers, like that particular barrel. Who knows? But the lot is also going to just be kept. You know, that's going to become one sample that's kept at the lab.
I see.
You know, so we could say
And
that
that's
lot.
represented by the-
Yeah, exactly. And then
that's
we
why
can
it's
go back and say, okay, this delivery of 4,547 kilos. Then we pull up that,
I see.
which then goes back to the individual farmers.
Because they're, I imagine when they're processing or when they're collecting, they're weighing what each farmer is bringing.
Yep.
But then they're just consolidating right
Exactly,
there. So
exactly.
you wouldn't even receive the separate.
No. They would all be. I mean, they actually probably are still in the individual bags that the farmer delivered, but then. So this is freshly washed, fully washed. I love the smell of the fresh, kind of wet.
Freshly washed, fully washed?
Yeah. Yeah, this is one of my favorite coffee smells. I don't know why. So yeah, this was probably washed this morning. Tadi pagi, yeah? Yeah. This is just washed this morning. It's interesting to smell like that. Skin dry, then we're actually moving to another yard that is like a big field. We're being dried on tar.
Is there a reason that there's like this little mound? Or is that just the way it was dumped out?
Yeah,
How come it goes
you basically do it in mounds, basically, as you dry it, and then they'll rotate it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I see. So this is the good spot right now. This is the most
Yeah, this
dry
is going to
spot.
get the most dry right now, but then like every hour they'll rotate it, and it helps it be more kind of homogeneous to kind of do that rotation. Now, if
That's
you're doing it on a patio, it's really nice. You often see people rake this way, and you see these kind of waves, and then they rake the other way, and you see the waves go kind of side to side.
It's like mowing grass.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's definitely an art to try to get coffee.
Yeah.
Food fight.
It's like taking so much care not to walk on the tar feet. Walk over and taking, just standing on the coffee.
There's coffee, you can stand on it.
Hello.
Depan ada batu, sabun, serbuk pelarangnya buat tendaman kaki, buka bekas, sakit lutut, sakit sendi. Barangkali berminat silakan ada di.
This is a hot spring, and there's volcanoes. That's a volcano over there. That's just sulfur coming up.
a hot spring.
What's causing this color?
That's not a volcano.
That's just
This
a
is like
bigger
a
version of
volcanic
that.
mount.
I see.
This is so acidic how there's like no barrier.
You just walk right into the mud.
Yeah, you could walk right in.
Dadah.
We'll wash the parchment and we'll send it to our place. Wet parchment.
dry.
Yeah, for drying.
Just to get here versus there. Is there any difference between the coffee they're washing here?
No.
Just two stations.
Yeah, the coffee is really nice. Yesterday you guys cupped this coffee, Indragiri.
We cupped some anaerobic honey. I don't know if it was this coffee, but
Okay.
we cupped some.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, might have been this.
Is it good?
Delicious.
6 tons.
6 tons.
So we try to rotating the pulper capacity is 6 tons.
In one day.
If we get excess, we will put it in the drum anaerobic. We try to rotate. We make sure even we are not keeping the cherry for long, so it will start fermenting. So try to fit it in the drum or fully washed. If it is excess, we'll send it to the different washing stations.
Is the priority washed or is the priority the drum?
Drum.
Drum is priority.
So like when you have space, just immediately refill it.
Yeah.
And this is worth, you get more per pound, per kilo for the anaerobic?
Yeah.
A lot more?
I need to check. I'm not sure.
Okay, but more.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
Even after 3 o'clock, morning they will go and harvest. Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
oh, that's so sad.
You made her cry.
What's happening?
Nanti lagi ya.
Dadah, 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 dadah.
Dadah.
Bye bye.
Udah.
Bye bye, bye bye.
Bye. Dadah.
Bye bye. Dadah, Mister. Dadah, Miss.
Itu Mr. Temis.
Dadah.
Kita putar. Turun dari sudut. Siap.
Really? Yeah. That's when I just eat it on a rock. What elevation is Indonesian Robusta?
450, 500.
Oh wow.
You think
Careful.
there's snakes here?
No,
Yeah,
I don't.
for sure. You're inside the forest.
Never mind.
There's snakes in here?
Yeah,
Definitely.
For sure.
Hope
You're
so.
at their home. That makes sense. So the lower elevation is advanced one.
Hello, come from?
United States.
Hey. Bisa mana? Rasa utik. Ini bisa. Misi mister. Ini mister. Oke.
Mana mah teu miluan.
Good.
Ya, ya.
Kan kadieu urang geus di kawah.
Pasti.
Yang dodo yang comro.
Yang combro wingi.
Urang ke.
Okay. Coffee.
Did you see that?
I did. That
What'd you
was real sweet.
What happened?
I squeezed it and it went.
Juicy? So here's a good example of what dried on the vine or on the tree.
I
So
saw some of those. I was wondering.
if you pull them, they're just super brittle. Yeah, that's good. You ready?
Yeah, let's go.
So the way I was taught, the way that they teach new pickers, is you'll trace it with your fingers, and you're just applying the right amount of pressure as you go along the vine. So you pass the unripe ones, and you're pulling all of the properly
Look at that.
mature cherries. Tastes good. Did you
Look
see
at
how he
that.
knocked off the green one too?
I did. I was going a little too strong.
So that's the whole game, right? It's like, how quickly can you pick without picking bad ones?
Mhm.
Because what's happening is, if they trust the picker, it'll give them a free sorted price
Just trusting that they're going to do all that QC
in the field.
beforehand.
Mm-hmm. And if they don't, then they will either give them a lower price per kilo because they don't trust that the quality is good, or they'll actually sort first and pay the sorted amount.
And that's annoying for the picker.
Slow. You have to get in earlier.
But still same day.
Mm-hmm. Everything is same day for a picker. So typically it's like they look at the quality and they change the price if it's bad. Or they fire you.
Or they find, okay.
Where do you come from?
America. There really is a value to being here for people at Compass that is not just buying beans. That like learning more about people's stories, understanding what their challenges are, how we can help. I was too reserved to ask the questions I wanted to ask. It was more about just receiving what they would give us and less about kind of like asking to understand the parts that we didn't understand.
What changed from those trips to this trip? Or to those trips to later trips where you don't feel that way?
I think it was Paula and Sylvia, the women who work at Leader Bean in Guatemala. At the end, they were just like, "Why didn't you ask more questions?"
Oh, because near the end you opened up and you started asking
Yeah,
them a lot of
yeah,
questions in the
yeah.
last like 20 minutes.
The last day, yeah. And so after that, it was just like, and it was fun. I mean, Paula came to visit, and so like she got the opposite experience of like seeing our side of things.
Can you visit Compass?
Yeah. She spent
Ivy
a
City
week.
Compass, or
Yeah. She spent a week at Ivy City with us. We went to cafes. She like met baristas. She worked behind the counter.
Oh yeah. Was she good?
I mean, you want to talk about someone who's like developed their palate like a finely honed scientific tool. That is Paula. But
how was your milk steaming?
Not so good.
Okay.
Woi, di bahay.
Gapi.
Hello.
Hi.
Banyak ini, banyak kulitnya ya. Iya. Jalan itunya kok ya? Jalan.
This will be fully washed wet hold?
Honey? Maybe? Or natural?
Could just be natural.
Smells like honey.
Maybe this is natural or honey?
Oh, it's a floaters.
Oh, it's floaters.
Floaters. The bad stuff.
Here's some naturals.
Nice.
Feel how much hotter it
You
is?
feel the sweat starting to form.
Yeah.
Already.
So like this is what I've seen a lot. So like
So they will
feel
see you,
dry.
right? Floaters and the again they will segregate once it is dry. They will segregate
Right.
again.
Back up.
They will bring it back up. Sometimes
Really?
they will mix or they will dry again. They will short it again. They will send it back.
Wow.
It's too much work.
That
But
is-
we don't try to reject at the first place. If it is really bad, first we'll warn them. Second time we'll warn them. Third time we'll say, okay, let's take back the coffee.
Is that why you try to visit up here to be like, we need more time to dry?
Yeah.
It's not ready yet.
Yeah.
Branches are dark? Or like the cherries
The
on them?
cherries on the branch.
Oh, they're
yeah.
just overripe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
They weren't picked. Got it.
That's a really good tree.
Very productive.
Yeah.
Bisa bilang banjir ya, banjir ya. belum matang semua tuh.
Kopi dari Amerika Serikat.
Oh iya, siap. Makasih banyak, Pak. Ya.
Thank you.
Thank you. Ya.
Alright, so Adi, we're gonna cut 2 tables, is that right?
Yeah.
And the first table is washed and wet hold?
Yeah.
Okay.
When you're shaking around with the trays, what are you looking for?
I'm just looking at the coffee.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like, are you looking for defects still, or are you just looking?
I'm just looking.
Okay.
I'm just looking and you know, it really does tell you kind of a lot about the coffee. It's a bit like cheating, so since I can't see the name, I'm looking at this and I can kind of know what it is.
So you can also kind of get a sense of where within Jawa, just based off size.
Potentially, but
Like
it's tricky because it does change throughout the season and there's a lot of different sizes. Indragiri is like the bigger village, and then the smaller village is something Stamplat. It's confusing because there's another Stamplat here. There's actually 2 Stamplats we buy from. And then these 2 are also from the same village. We didn't visit them this week. This one is like super remote and at higher elevation. Sarayana, what's in this Sarayana? Bispa sama Dede.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is cherry from 2 different villages. It actually has some cherry from Indragiri, and it also has some cherry from Cianjur.
Interesting.
So these 2 are cherry that were blended and processed together at our wet mill. This is coffee just from Cianjur, processed at our wet mill. Processed at Dede's wet mill. This is processed at Samsu's wet mill. And this one is Kerinci, fully washed. Kerinci in central Sumatra. And they're also harvesting right now. So the timing of their harvest is different because they're further south. So Aceh is all done, finished. But Kerinci harvest similar time as West Java. Although they have to harvest year round because they're like right near the equator, so they get multiple harvests throughout the year. Taste them.
Do you think now is like the best temperature to taste?
Yeah, I think it's a good temperature for sure. Yeah.
What farms in Washington, where on the map are those that we saw?
Oh, they're all here.
Thanks.
Yeah. So we're in West Java.
We were traveling east every day to get to them.
You
Was I traveling west?
You went south to the direction of Soryang, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
And I think yesterday you went a bit more east.
Yeah.
Like that.
Thanks.
Like where the speakers are is for the call to prayer.
Right. And that makes sense. Yeah, it's that the speakers higher up would make a lot of sense.
It looks like it was donated by Cairo, Turkey, and Morocco. Funding for it. And
Everyone wave.
Đây là đúng rồi, này là mã để hai cái tay ra đây, hai cái tay ra đây.
He's like a model.
This is my
Korean language here
right.
because
Do you get a
lot
lot of Koreans?
Yes, a lot of Korean tourists, and then we are the top 5 of the tourist destination of the Korean people.
Oh,
wow.
Come here, yes. So almost at the winter season, a lot of Korean tourists they come.
Interesting.
But just only.
Yeah.
Ồ, cái này chín rồi hả?
Dạ.
Wow.
Wow.
You can really smell it.
Smell.
Kind of stinky.
Oh yeah, it's like old pineapple.
Yeah.
Sering nhìn nha.
No, don't like it?
No.
That's what they call it. And so you eat this part. Oh, whoa.
Yeah, it's really soft. I mean, they say it's super fleshy.
You just eat this part, not this part, right?
I think so, yeah.
So you only eat this part, right? Okay.
But for you, Trip, you can eat this part.
Yes, sir.
And you grew this one here too?
Hôm nay bán hết hàng chưa?
Chưa, em vẫn còn hàng free nữa. Sao hôm nay họ bán đi?
Tại vì cái giá nó độ
They want to try this. Yeah. We've been trying various types.